Welcome to a swim lane model of instructional design. I'm your host, Beth Woodell, and I'm excited to be sharing with you my approach to designing a model for producing instruction in SAP for a multinational company. In this presentation, I won't be naming the company by name, but simply referring to it as Company H. Let me tell you a little bit about Company H. Chances are you have one or more of their products in your home or office. They are a Fortune 100 company employing about 97,000 employees on all six inhabited continents and conducting business in probably about 2 dozen languages. Company H is over 105 years old and is a member of both the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. To consolidate systems and data across all the businesses, Company H made the decision a couple of years ago to deploy SAP to manage demand and supply planning, sales, procurement, quality management, and logistics such as shipping and warehouse functions. SAP is what is referred to as an Enterprise Resource Planning Program, or ERP. It can handle basically any part of any business or organization through implementation of its business modules. SAP is cafeteria style. The business can pick and choose which models it wishes to implement. A typical initial SAP implementation from blueprinting to go live takes about 2 to 5 years. A rapid deployment solution is also available, and user training typically happens about 6 to 8 weeks prior to go live. Company H is enthusiastic about training its employees, but they know they're not training experts. They know they need their people to be fluent in SAP quickly, whatever it takes to achieve that. In the past, end user training was experts from the business preparing PowerPoint slides with screenshots of the system, conducting lectures or Zooms, and explaining every single field on a screen. The experts really knew their stuff. However, they didn't always know how to be a good trainer, and their writing and language skills varied, leading to disjointed presentations that didn't exhibit a common look and feel or employ consistent system terminology. In addition, it wasn't hands-on training. It was mostly just the expert talking. Company H knows this approach isn't optimal for users who need to practice using the system and observing the results of what they do. They want to bring in instructional designers who can create engaging, relevant training and post-go live instruction. Finally, Company H wants a training solution with reusable learning objects, or RLOs, that are scalable to different size audiences, portable for different locations, and easily translatable into Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, French, or any of a number of other languages. The swim lane approach assumes team members are moving in an orchestrated way according to their roles toward a common target. In this model, the instructional designer, the evaluator, and the diffusion team all have their assigned duties as they work toward a common goal, exchanging information and ideas along the way. Any good development effort will begin with a solid front-end analysis. In the SAP world, this includes a task called role mapping. The analyst uses available information to determine which users will be doing which tasks in SAP. This enables us to organize course design. At the same time, the diffusion team may conduct fact-finding missions to learn concerns users may have about the new system and making the transition to it, and what they already know about the new system. Interviews and focus groups can also help us identify people from the business who might make great change champions. Those opinion leaders who see SAP in a positive light and can talk up the benefits the switch will bring. Once we do that, we can look at existing training materials with a critical eye as to whether the content is usable, what needs to be updated, and what can be omitted. Anything the front-end analysis identified as a training need that isn't in existing materials becomes part of the training solution. The next step is nailing down the design of the overall curriculum, including sequencing, timing, and method, as well as designing the curriculum for each individual training course. It's not too early at this point for evaluators to get in there and do an initial formative evaluation, consulting with experts and regular users about how the design can be improved before beginning development. The next step is actually getting in there and developing the materials. This includes identifying the media, writing the content, and getting formative feedback. It's typical for reviewers to get two bites of the apple, so to speak, to submit formative feedback. More than that often delays the implementation timeline. During the design and development phases, the diffusion team can conduct many different activities to spread the word about the change. Because Company H is a global company, advancing these messages needs to take time zone differences, languages, and remote work policies into account. When the material is ready to deliver, implementation activities can take place and final staging of the materials in their permanent online home can occur for reference and for future training. End user training typically takes place 6 to 8 weeks before go live. This is the optimal balance between learner mastery and retention and recall. A summative evaluation is usually done at this point. The culmination of all of our efforts, go live. This date is usually used as the benchmark for the entire implementation, which implies a backward planning approach to project management. After the switch is flipped, experts and instructional designers often provide additional training in the form of triage and guest side coaching to provide additional scaffolding for new users. This is referred to as the hypercare period, and typically it lasts 2 to 8 weeks after go live. You'll notice I haven't assigned any dates to the process. This is because I intend this model to be reusable in future implementations of other systems that need training at Company H, upgrades to SAP, or even non-technical training. It's meant to be versatile and adaptable to a variety of learning scenarios. Who's affected by this model I propose? First, the end users in the various business work streams and, of course, their managers at Company H. They may be in the US or other countries and may work varying work schedules depending on business need and national holidays. They're the ones reviewing and taking the training and deserve to give formative feedback. Next, SAP projects always involve setting up a system just for training that doesn't involve the day-to-day business. A role called master data analyst and their manager and a systems architect are invaluable in staging a safe space for a realistic hands-on end-user training experience. To manage the overall training project, the training leads of both the client side, in this case Company H, and the SAP side steer all development activities. And finally, there are the ones that actually make it happen, the instructional designers, along with the evaluators and diffusion team. Some of the assumptions and risks about this model include we assume end users will be given the appropriate system access to do their training. We assume we'll be able to identify trainers from the business rather than hiring trainers from the outside. We assume that SAP will integrate relatively smoothly with any existing systems. And at Company H, there are several for things like tax software, HRIS, payroll, sales commissions, sales leads, and demand planning. One risk is that a 24/7 production calendar, the factories are always on. This means that only certain times will be available for end user training. And at least initially, we assume that training will be conducted in US English in most locations. A few locations initially will be trained in Mexican Spanish. How do we get the message out? Diffusion, or Organizational Change Management, or OCM, is a key part of implementing instruction on this scale. There are many ways to spread the word about all the positive things the new system will bring. We can do email blasts, we can do social media, especially Yammer, which is an internal form of Twitter, town halls, wikis, blogs of the C-suite executives and company leadership, a print newsletter desired, and what I consider the most important part, the change champions. These are the opinion leaders that are best in a position to make SAP look good, sound good, get people excited about the change. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you're as excited as I am about seeing this influential company make this big change across all of its businesses.